how to fly, learn how to take off and land. I was never eating it.
Which part did you learn first?
Definitely. Well, taking off was easy. Getting back was like, oh, now I got it. Now that I'm up in the air, I got to land.
Everybody's in your
I'll take-
favor when you're
And that's where
going
most of the
around.
crashes are statistically, is in your landing. So
Taking off is optional.
I flew Harriers in the Marine Corps, so the one that hovered. And
Hi, Chris.
Chris, how you doing?
Pretty good, how are you?
You guys meet him.
Good Christmas?
It's nice to meet you.
Very nice
That was pretty great, how was yours?
You can't vote for me, at least you can tell Kyle that.
Turn it in.
My call sign was Marl.
Oh, do you?
I went by for like 22 years.
Powered by Loop Up. Press
All right,
1
nice
to
to meet
join.
you.
Nice to meet you. Which Haggards from around here?
Yeah, there's a lot of Haggards out there, but I'm not related to almost any of them except for my dad and brother.
Really?
So I grew up here, we had the Dairy Queen over in Waverly.
Okay.
And,
Herb,
yeah, that's my
your
dad.
dad? Okay, okay.
Center. Powered by Loop Up. Press 1 to join.
I know who you are.
There's a packet from the last
Obviously
meeting.
been around more
For
than
weeks and
Yeah,
then everything.
yeah. Okay.
I'll get
Know
you,
all about you.
I'll get your contact info from Dave.
Okay, all right. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, more than once. 4 times. Yeah.
Loop Up. Press 1 to join.
There we go. Jeff, yep, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Can he hear, Jeffrey, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for an invocation? God, as we gather this evening, we thank you for this wonderful town that we live in. Council thanks you for the opportunity to serve this community. We ask for strength, courage, and wisdom in all of our decisions. And thank you. Please continue to bless this town. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Call to order the Tuesday, January 4th, 2022, and that's TWO, not TOO, meeting of the Mooresville Town Council. First item on the agenda is reorganization. Obviously, so that there's comments that need to be made, so we're going to start with Jeff. Do you have any comments?
I have no comment.
Shane?
No, sir.
Greg? Dustin?
No.
I have none either. I need a motion to reorganize or continue the way we are.
Make the motion, Tom Morgan be president of the town council for the 2022 year.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call. Jeff?
Oh, I remain a no.
Aye.
Oh, you're doing a roll call. Okay.
Shane?
No.
Greg?
Aye.
Dustin?
Aye.
And I am an aye. Jeff, Dustin, 4-1. I need a motion for vice president. Shane, Jeff, Greg, I need a motion for vice president.
I couldn't hear, Tommy. What were you saying?
I need a motion for vice president.
Move to nominate Dustin for vice president.
Been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Made and seconded. Roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Shane?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Dustin?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Greg, Jeff, 5-0. Gentlemen have had a chance to read the minutes from our previous meeting. I need a motion to either approve or amend our minutes.
Make a motion that we approve the the minutes from our regular session, December 21st, 2021.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Jeff?
Aye.
Shane?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Dustin?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Dustin, Greg, 5-0. Under unfinished business, gateway fixes. Shane, I believe you put that on the agenda.
Yes, I have a couple of motions prepared, but first I'll just preface it by saying I think there's issues in the gateway we've talked about for a couple of years, including traffic snarls and malfunctioning lights on the torches and that kind of thing. So I put together a couple of motions that would request Dave Moore look at the traffic study, come up with an action plan, and look at alternative lighting for the torches. He's had multiple electricians look at these torches for over 2 years, since I've been on, and prior, and they can't get the parts for them, they can't get them fixed. It's just not been a viable lighting system, and it's, quite frankly, embarrasses me. I mean, those are supposed to be something the town can be proud of. So, do you want me to read the motions one at a time, or do you want discussion first, or?
Just a discussion, has White Electrical given up on?
Yeah, they've been out for quite a while, and I think the last bit was that they've been waiting on parts, can't get parts, and that's what we ran into the first time. However, I'm not too sure that that's the whole story, because they kind of, what happens is people show up, the vendor shows up to repair, they start doing some work, and then they kind of end up disappearing over time because they just can't fix it. I think it's just, based on what Dave has told me, just bad design. It gets water in it. Just kind of been bad from the start. And I hate to keep spending money on something that's not getting fixed. We've tried, I know he's tried multiple electricians locally and from out of town, and no one's been able to offer a solution that actually works.
I know you talked to the one in Plainfield when you went and got the
Yes.
parts back. And that's what that guy said, but White's saying the same thing, just can't get parts?
He's saying he can't get parts. I think that last I heard, he had ordered some kind of motherboard, but they keep getting fried because of water. That's my understanding, but I'm not an electrician either, so.
Made an earnest attempt to have an outside vendor repair these. Do we have any leg to stand on going back to the original designer?
How long ago was that? I mean, I'd have to go look at the original documents and any warranties that are associated with them.
Jeff, was that gateway approved in 14? Virginia, do you know?
Tom, I don't recall offhand exactly what year it was.
When did,
So approved in 2014, designed and put in soon thereafter.
yeah, soon thereafter. And I think that went back with the whole bond and 12 design and
Okay.
I mean, you know, when they say, well, you know, it just wasn't, it's out of the warranty period. We've even assumed, like Shane said, we've assumed the liability and said, we'll pay to fix it, but now we can't even pay to fix it. Can't get no one to do it.
It'd be a creative argument,
Okay. Sorry.
but I'll never say never.
Do you have a specific motion for the lighting, or do you want
Yes.
to go on with, okay.
I can read it and see what you think. Okay, the light, I make a little declaration at the beginning, but the lighting systems that were installed in our gateway torches have not worked properly in years. After multiple failed attempts by multiple electricians over a several-year period, these lighting systems have not proven repairable or viable. I make a motion to allow Dave Moore to explore new lighting options for the two torches on the town gateway signs. This would be the north and the south, as well as the large torch at Indiana and 67. Reporting back during the first town council meeting in March of 22, Dave Moore is instructed to explore new lighting possibilities, including the following: GOBO, which is GOBO, projection lighting, projection mapping lighting, wrapping of the panels with regular spot lighting, other lighting options per Dave Moore's discretion, etc. The goal is to have pricing options for workable lighting and potentially add features, increasing awareness that the torches are part of our home of the state flag theme. That would be my motion, and I typed it for her to have, because it's long. I can explain to you what the GOBO lighting is. Do you know what that is? GOBO lighting is like they have indoor and outdoor applications for it. It's, for lack of a better description, have you seen the Batman signal on TV or in a movie? It's a light with a device in front of it, and the light shines through it and displays that image. Sometimes you'll see them on the floor of a department store or on a wall, but they can also be projected up onto a building or a feature, and it would be a still image. So for example, you could put something like an image of the state flag up on the panels that are currently there. And it would be a still image. It would tie the torch to the state flag theme, and so that's one option. The projection mapping would be a more sophisticated option, probably more money. That would be like what you see downtown Indianapolis. I've also seen it on Assembly Hall at IU. That's a video projection, and they'll put it up on buildings or structures, and you can change that out. You can change the GOBO too, but it would still be a still image, you know. With the projection mapping, it would be an actual projector that it could either be still or moving and be changeable. Then the idea of wrapping would be like what you see on a car, a vehicle, like maybe a Wrap It Up would do, where they would take the panels, wrap them with the state flag, and then you just shine a regular light on them. I mean, you'd probably have to change those as they faded over time, if it's even an option. And then I put et cetera, just, you know, in case Dave comes up with an alternative, just a regular spotlight. You shut the colors off, maybe you leave the torch head, the flame like it is, and you just light the structure up. That'd probably be the cheapest solution. But those are ideas I came up with, and Dave may have his own, or you may have additional ones to investigate too. I don't know. But that's the options I put into the motion.
You know, Dave came up with the idea of the flames, lighting the flames.
Yes.
I mean, I don't have a problem with him. I mean, have you discussed this with him in the time frame?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I shared it with him. That gives him about 60 days roughly to come up with an idea to present, and maybe get some pricing estimates and so forth. I have no idea what the estimates will be, but those were I just started looking for ideas, and just kind of tired of looking at them the way they are, you know, all malfunctioning. So.
Are the parts obsolete or?
I'm sorry?
Hard to get?
Oh, I don't know if they're obsolete or not. They just,
Shouldn't be, but.
you wouldn't think so, but my understanding is even if you could get them, the design of the lighting system has flaws in it and allows moisture into it, and it shorts out the electronics, and it's a fairly complicated thing. They're supposed to be able to change colors, and it's supposed to coordinate with the holidays, so it's more than just lighting it up, and there's multiple light fixtures inside. And yeah.
We have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Motion made and seconded. Jeff? Shane?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Dustin?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. The first motion on the lighting, let's do this. That was Shane, Greg, 5-0. This will teach Dave to be sick and not come to the meeting, won't it?
Yeah.
Stuff the rest of the form.
That's the lighting. You said you had two?
Yeah, and this one's sort of similar to the first one, except it has to do with the traffic study. And it's just, I'll just read it and you can go from there. In an effort to better traffic flow through the town's gateway, I make a motion to instruct Dave Moore, with the help of the town attorney and town financial advisor, to draft an action plan on implementing the recommendations of the recent traffic study for the town gateway. These recommendations include light timing recommendations at the intersection of Indiana and Main, including street painting and/or moving the light pole at the southwest corner, installing turn lanes in place of landscape medians at Moore and Indiana at the Kroger intersection, and any other recommendations at the discretion of Dave Moore. The action plan should be presented to the council at the first meeting in March of 2022.
We talked about the removing of the medians and that being part of a bond. I mean, we're fixing lighting. We're not destroying it. I get that. Can we change?
We'd have to go back and look at the bond document itself and the obligations tied to that, without looking at the indenture. I don't have an answer for you. With the implementation of the traffic study, the only thing that I have hesitation on is where you say anything else that Dave would like, so long as it's,
Yes, that's
so long as there's a traffic study that recommends.
Matter of fact, the motion, I titled it Motion on Traffic Study Recommendations. So it's tied directly to the traffic study. And that's why I also said with the help of the town attorney, and assuming he's going to have to figure out whether we can do these in-house, whether they're large enough to require bids, all those sorts of things, and whether these should go in the capital improvement plan, that kind of thing. So that's why I put in with the help of the attorney and the financial advisor. If 60 days isn't enough, I can extend that at the time.
Since we gave that one 60 days, let's give them a little bit more time.
Okay, I could amend it to the first meeting in April of 2022, and if we need more time, well, he would come and ask for that time, I guess.
Can we call that a motion?
Yes, and I'll submit this, and I'll change this to April 2022.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made. Jeff?
Aye.
Shane?
Aye.
Greg? Dustin?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That is Shane Dustin, 5-0. If Dave is watching on video, you're welcome. Anything else?
I can provide him a copy of these, or the clerk can, just so he's got it.
Yeah, I would, but I would, in case he's not watching, I would put first meeting in February on both.
Okay.
Do you have anything else?
No, sir, thank you.
New business, Overton Industries SB1 declaratory resolution. Is Mike here?
No, he pitched it to me just briefly. If you go back all of the year, Overton Industries submitted an SB1 at the same meeting last year. It's just coincidental. They're expanding a little bit, but I would encourage the council to keep an open mind, because by the end of the year, or even on their Q1 business plan as of right now, it seems to be, This sets them up for a much larger expansion, so. This is a tiny step to a larger step for Overton. They've been a great partner for Mooresville, a steady growth business, and it's just coincidental that they submitted this SB1, same meeting a year ago.
Comments or questions? The declaratory resolution does, it's resolution number 3, 2022. It does set it as an economic development area. We have granted tax abatements for this same company in this same area before. This is just the way that we've done it in the past. I need a motion to approve the declaratory resolution and set the confirmatory resolution or confirmatory hearing for January 18th.
I will make that motion.
Motion been made. Do I have a second? Motion made and seconded. Jeff?
Aye.
Shane?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Dustin?
Aye.
I am an aye. Dustin, Greg, 5-0.
I think you had the advertisement that needs to go out.
Department head reports. Not everybody at once. Take your time.
Can we make a motion for theme music for our department heads to walk up to?
Walk-up music like
Yes.
baseball.
Yes, walk-up music like baseball.
There you go.
There you go.
Do we pick or do they?
No, we are.
First thing I have on my agenda for tonight is that last council meeting, I believe it was, we had one of my firefighters resign. I'd like to go ahead and move forward with that, with your guys' blessing, to go ahead and replace him with the town hall's recommendations once we can fill that spot.
Again, this is one of those kind of gray areas, whether we approve it or whether he's just courtesy letting us know.
I think it's just a courtesy letting us know.
That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
So with the clerk treasurer's approval as far as he's out, we're past his payout period, then
Okay. Just so you guys, keeping you guys up to date on the department's policies. I know Beth Copeland has been very busy with everything. I did reach out to her today, just kind of a follow-up. She's hoping to have those reviewed and looked at and got back with us by next week, is what she's kind of hoping for. So is that kind of what I got from her email. So just kind of information only on that. The other thing,
The delay was my fault because she had to pick up all the stuff that I was missing.
I was so gonna mention that.
You were
I-
wait a minute, you were gone?
I know, right? Nobody really recognizes or notices that.
trying to keep you out of it. The other topic that I had for tonight was the fire investigator discussion. Again, working with Beth on that and Chief Jillian. A lot of fire department agencies have investigators that have police powers. With that being said, like the state fire marshal's office, they have police powers. Wayne Township has police powers, Plainfield, Martinsville. We had police powers at one point in time with Division Chief Darrell Brown. He was actually with the Morgan County Sheriff's Department. I know they tried it at some point in time here with prior council and prior past police chiefs. I don't know where that all kind of fell around that, but I know Chief Brown went to the Sheriff's Department to become a reserve for his police powers for the reserve program for his fire investigations for here. Excuse me. With that being said, I've reached out to a lot of agencies, got some different policies. I gave those over to Beth Copeland for review. In that policy is basically, we would basically have the police powers. We would have a purchase of a firearm for the fire department. Working with Chief Jillian, it sounds like the best option, with your guys' blessing, is to basically have him purchase it, myself and him oversee the issuing of that. It would just be for our full-time personnel. For that firearm, they would actually also qualify and go through 40-hour pre-basic. You had asked me about a bill that we had from the Sheriff's Department for training. That was for 3 of our full-time firefighters that are investigators that are getting 40-hour pre-basic that they need to have for a fire investigation for police powers, what the state requires. Right now, we're just basically throwing options out there and having things for discussions and trying to get the best avenue for us to move forward with this. Do you have questions for me on that? You look puzzled, Tom.
We can't send them, we can't make them a reserve at our police department because they can't go and work for free because of the fair labor laws. Is that correct?
Yeah, you run into a situation of being reserved here while they're employee, whether or not that time qualifies then to trigger them for overtime and all of this other FMLA, FLSA stuff that I hate and I leave to the employment lawyers to deal with. It creates an issue,
So-
doing it that way.
Can I ask one question?
Probably
So-
what I was gonna ask.
When our fire investigators are called out, I am already paying them overtime for the fire department because they're above and beyond what they're working already. Whether they take comp hours or the time and a half.
Right, but if we're saying that we're going to make them a reserve for the Mooresville Police Department, that's the concept, right? Is there any occasion in which they're called out?
Well, they're required, aren't they?
I mean,
Will require, as a reserve for our SOPs and per the ordinance, they're required a set number of hours.
okay, so the problem is that those hours that they work, how does that then trigger into the calculation for everything else? And so that's gonna be my concern, and I think we need to have.
And that's kind of where we were looking at with Chief Jillian and I. We were talking with Beth. We were actually thinking of just a special deputy or a special police officer when they would only have powers when they're called out,
And
if that's possible by
authorized
state.
By ordinance to be able to do that.
Yeah, so that, I know of situations in which you have police departments who have, because you already have them trained, they have all of that stuff, you have a detective that's appointed as the arson investigator or things of that nature, and they get sent out to do those investigations. I'm much more familiar with that type of situation, but because that investigation is then done in connection with the investigation of a crime, so it's a standard, not that, but I'm reading this one now.
No, you're fine. That was actually, Chief Jillian just gave that to me and I was kind of reading it myself back there.
There's some of the stuff that we would need to do because they would follow the umbrella account for liability.
Yeah.
And any kind of fees that would be negated.
I mean, I think there's options, we would just need guidance from the council, as to, well, let me ask you this. Do you want me to look into more to see if it is a possibility or if issues arise if we make them a reserve in the Mooresville Police Department to get their police powers, or are we looking at more of an option of just finding somebody actually in the police department to then be the special officer?
Was there an Indiana code that listed that had requirements for a reserve that was hours worked or anything?
I
Or
think
was-
there is statutes that reference reserve and qualifications and stuff like that, yes.
I would like to see if there's an option for us to put it under an umbrella of our police chief as far as their powers. I know that's always been the question in the past is now if we make them a reserve, then we get into the Fair Labor Standard laws. And our last inspector just became a reserve deputy and enjoyed the career down there also. Our firefighters may say, no, I really don't even want to do that.
And the three that are going through the training now just to help with their fire investigation, they don't want anything to do with working the road. They just want to be able to have that power just when they're investigating a fire.
Just when they're on duty for the fire department.
5-2-1-9.
Come on.
I have the policy that Beth has that she's looking at. This is the one that was actually rewrote for the town of Plainfield. I know I gave it to Dustin, I gave it to Chief Jillian, and I also gave it to Jeff Cook. And all of them were like, yeah, that's, and Shane, did I even give it to you also?
I don't think so.
Okay. I couldn't remember if I gave it to so many people, I couldn't remember who I gave it to actually. And it was actually wrote up by Lexipol, Gordon Graham.
Does the council have a problem with investigating the correct ways or correct options that we have to pursue this?
No, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Jeff, do you have any problem with allowing legal counsel to pursue this?
No, I don't. So if I'm following correctly, basically the fire department's wanting to create some fire investigators, give them arrest powers through the Mooresville Police as being a reserve officer, but they wouldn't actually be out working the parade details, things like that. They would only be getting paid if the fire department called them out. They wouldn't be under the actual umbrella of a reserve with the 16 hours minimum a month and all that. Is that right?
I think that's what we're looking for, is something in that nature.
Yeah, I agree.
Shane?
Yeah, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you came wanting to make a fire department personnel, an investigator, you wanted them to have police powers. And then what you're saying, would you be taking the fire department personnel and giving them police powers, or would you be taking a police officer and giving them fire investigation?
So like right now, I have the three guys that are in the 40-hour pre-basic class. They are going as a firefighter, but once they graduate that class, they will then have police powers by state statute.
But they're already
firefighter investigators.
So which is more difficult to train, the police power side or the fire?
Jeff, you want in on this?
I was going to say, I'm going to go ahead and just bow out of this fight. He's got a taser. I got nothing.
I never wanted to be a firefighter.
So, and I'll use this as an example for council is that I know that I was on, as you guys know, that I have my police powers also through Monrovia. And I was on a fire assisting with Monroe Township, and they called basically and asked for our engine, our ladder. And when I got there, I didn't really have anything to do. They said, hey, we're going to call out a fire investigator. I'm like, I'm already here. As I was sitting there interviewing that individual, the homeowner basically didn't want to cooperate with me, police department. That's what these guys would have those powers. Now, if it's something like our High Street, yes, our prosecutor in the county does want to have a detective, whether it's the sheriff's department, Mooresville Police Department, whoever, involved also. And that something bigger magnitude of money, death, stuff like that, we're going to have more fire investigators. When something very, very small is where these guys will help out, where we don't have to call Chief Jillian or somebody else to help take care of this small little stuff. And Detective McDaniels is already a fire investigator. Chief Metzger had put him through the class a year ago, 2 years ago.
It was a couple years ago.
So with McDaniels, we'll have that kind of a working relationship there also.
So long story short, I'm for whatever the town attorney to investigate whatever option is viable.
Do they have to go through the academy or anything as far as having the police powers? Or
So that's what they're doing right now. Division Chief Robinson and Lieutenant Hartsock and Jordan Russell is actually down at the Sheriff's Department right now tonight. They started their class tonight. As a fire investigator, we also get credited for police training. So their hours for investigator actually goes towards their training and stuff like that. So the hours that, since they're not going to be a police officer until we figure all this out, then they'll just put it towards their fire investigations training.
Chris, I think you had a question. I don't know if it's going to be the same as mine or not.
I was just curious, selfishly, around the, so I get nervous when we have like the school, the school police now have police powers, right? And they're not under the police commission board, the safety board. And now there's no safety board, or like, I think it's you guys, for the police department. So if the police, or if the fire, if now there's certain fire investigators that have police power, how do we ensure that they're following the SOPs and procedures of the police department?
That was when he raised his hand. That's what I thought is where does the discipline lie?
The discipline lies here because they are the merited fire members. So they're not part of the merited police department, which would go over there. So it would lie here. There would have to be a lot of work on the SOPs to make sure that you have everything lined out for how those investigators are to operate, what their powers are, when they can exercise it, and review that. But the discipline would come to this council. Happy birthday.
That wasn't the answer I wanted. Was it the answer you wanted, Chris?
I just, no, I don't know what the right answer is.
That's the right answer, it just may not be the answer.
I would just want to make sure that you don't have, people not operating under the same procedures that the police department is operating under.
Greg, do you have anything?
No, for looking into it.
Dustin?
I am definitely for it. I think both chiefs should be commended. Lexipol is fantastic at protocols and SOPs. And also, it's the way that the world is starting to go. That, we're now starting to bridge gaps where years ago we never had police officers do certain things. We didn't have firefighters do certain things. We never thought that firefighters had to, we're moving towards the direction. But again, let's move forward in that direction correctly.
Can we have a motion for legal counsel to work on this?
I will make that motion.
Motion been made. Do I have a second? Motion made and seconded. Jeff?
Aye.
Shane?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Dustin?
Aye.
I'm an aye. That is Dustin, Greg, 5-0.
Shane, I'll just say this real quick. You asked me a question yesterday when we were chatting about this, about was one in 2021. A Houston fire investigator was killed in the line of duty doing an arson investigation. I did your research that you asked me to do.
Okay.
So, I have nothing further. Do you have anything? Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave Moore asked, and he should have put this in front of everyone. He was just a little under the weather tonight. I'm not sure that him and, I don't know, is there a ball game on tonight that him and Jeff may be watching? I'm not sure. But what he wanted to do was get out early on some grant. If you remember last year, we applied for and received $1 million. Once we put them out to bid, because we did go to bid early, $60,000. I think maybe the early bird does get the cheaper worm this time. To move forward with letting these bids, or advertising these bids, not letting.
Is there any way that Dave could look at a certain section? In my ward, I have a disabled veteran. A couple of years ago, he attended here. He was walking. He is now unable to walk due to injury sustained. And I would like Dave to look at, there's a portion that may need some updated wheelchair accessibility.
It won't be on this. It helps with ADA compliancy. I think we really need to have him take a look at it.
Yeah.
He has done to do this, and he's.
I was just looking.
I would say he's probably one of our more compassionate department heads.
It's because he's not here.
Because he doesn't have arresting powers. Motion for Dave to advertise. Second.
I will second.
Motion made and seconded. Jeff?
Aye.
Shane?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Any other department heads? Public comments?
Wasn't ready for the test. Make a motion, we approve claims in the amount of $234,764.13.
Notice we don't spend as much when Jeff's not here?
Dave's not here.
Dave's not here. Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Jeff?
Aye.
Dustin?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, 5-0. Dustin, Greg, 5-0. Town council comments. Jeff?
I have none.
Shane?
I have none.
Greg?
I'm good. Insurance does COVID test. We have quite the discussion back and forth on the looming mandate that's probably going to be heard before the Supreme Court on Friday, but just wanted to let the town employees know that our is soared. The current price right now per 300 tests, and these are the cheap ones, is about $2,700 a case. So if ever a point that our insurance does come back, that's the current rate right now.
$2.
A case,
Is that a case?
300.
300.
Does the mandate require vaccination, or does it just require testing if you're not vaccinated?
Testing if you're not vaccinated.
Okay,
Currently, but it's being held.
Right.
Heard before the Supreme Court on Friday. I think oral arguments are Friday. Not that I'm watching intently as well.
I did speak to Darrell Brown, our gravedigger, and he is willing to look over the contract, and we're going to, you guys want to have it here?
Please do.
6:30? I need a motion.